Hello, thanks for clicking. I'm Mark Morse, and you're watching the second episode of the Week in Retrospect. I created this format as a way for me to talk about not only vinyl but other things in my life. Actually, a little kind of a weekly vlog of my life if you want to hang around for that. But what I've done is I've created it in a way that I talk about the vinyl first. And that way you can watch that if you're one of my vinyl community friends, and you don't have to worry about the rest of the video. Of course, you are welcome to watch anything on here. I have an interest in books, movies. I like to talk about my daily life on this platform. But let's get to talking about records. The first record I wanted to talk about was the Zombies, Odessey, and Oracle. I bought this mainly from the suggestion of Sam St. John. He talks about this a lot. I think he says it's in his top 5 albums of all time. The Zombies were always kind of on the peripheral for me as I was growing up and throughout the years. I do have a Zombies greatest hits that I felt pretty much covered everything I needed from the Zombies, but Sam had such good things to say about this album, and I've heard a lot about it. I've never listened to it until this week. I've actually bought this quite a while ago. It was on my stack of things to listen to. I finally got to it this week. I'll probably talk about this more in an episode where I just focus on this or albums like this. But from listening to it one time, it does seem like it's going to be an album I'm going to enjoy. It does have a great sound to it. But my first impression is, seems like a good record. Another album I listened to this week is Iggy and the Stooges, Raw Power. Now this is the release, the double album release, where the first record is the original album mixed by David Bowie, and then the second record is the album remixed by Iggy. I still feel that Iggy Pop's mix is superior to Bowie's mix. I think Pop keeps the raw power, but mixes it in a way where you can capture some of the intricacies better too. So that's my feeling on that record. When I'm in the middle of a shoot and I get thirsty, I reach for a bottle of frosty blue lemonade. Refreshing. One of the records I was really excited about listening to this week is Sinead O'Connor's I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got. I've never owned this on vinyl. I have this on CD. I have her, The Lion and the Cobra on CD, and Am I Not Your Girl on CD, but I've never had any of Sinead on vinyl. So this came in Friday. I was super excited to play it. Of course, it has the famous Prince song that he wrote for her, Nothing Compares to You. It's a great song, but I think all of her original compositions are just as powerful, probably more powerful than that song. I just really love this album, and we'll talk about this later, I'm sure. Another record I got around to listening to today is the new release of the Ultimate Mixes for John Lennon's Mind Games. I really do like this album. I love John Lennon's voice. I just love to listen to John Lennon. Even songs that I don't particularly like, I just love his voice so much. I always find some type of enjoyment in there. I do like this record, and I'm glad I have it. The first record is the Ultimate Mixes, and then the second record are the outtakes. The only thing I'm going to say about this, because I know a lot of people have already talked about this, and it's other varieties. You can get the CD set, and then there's a $3,000 plus cube set that you can get. I went with the 2 record set, the cheapest. I'd been watching Rachel's Ghost channel, and she was talking about this record, and one of the things she said was she thought that some of the songs had lost power in this mix, and one of the songs she mentioned was Free to People, Bring On to Lucy. When I was listening to this, I'd forgotten what she had said about that. I was just listening to the record. And Free to People is probably my favorite song on this record. And I really do like this record. I know it gets, people say that's not even a good John Lennon record. Why'd they put so much work into this? I really do like this record. But Free to People is one of my all-time favorite songs on here. And when it came on, immediately I was reminded of what Rachel had said on her channel. It seems to have lost some punch. I'm not smart enough to tell you what has happened in the mixing, but it seems to lack some drive that I really like about the song, because it's John Lennon being clever, angry. It's just a really great song. It does seem to lose some power on here, so but it's an overall great record. The other record that Mind Games brought to mind was the One Hand Clapping release. This album has been talked about so much. I felt I wanted to mention it, that I have it, and that I do like it. I enjoy it. I don't know how often I'll listen to it, but if you're a Wings fan or McCartney fan, this is when he was really in the height of his musical prowess. And this has been unreleased for like 50 years. Just, there's some great stuff on here. I don't know how often I'll listen to it. Again, it's an album I'm glad I have, but there's so many other channels that go track by track through this that you're going to get more information from. But this is a fine record. If you have the money and you're a fan, it's probably worth getting. I'd like to spend some of this episode doing a tribute to one of my favorite monster movies of all time, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. This movie came out in 1954, and for years I thought it was the scariest movie that was ever made. My brother and I, my brother is about 2 years younger than me. There was this woods across from our house, and way back in the woods there was a creek, and we'd go down there and play by the creek. Every now and again we'd kind of forget the time, and it would start getting dark, and it got really dark really fast in those woods if you didn't get out in time. And we had realized it was getting dark, and we'd get a little sense of panic, and we'd start running back, and inevitably one of us would yell, what if the creature's out? And we would just go screaming through the woods. Anyway, it was just a really fun movie. I have a lot of great memories with it. At a Comic-Con years ago, I found this vendor selling I call it an autograph board. I don't know what they are technically, but it had the creature scenes from the movie and then the autographs of all the major stars in the movie. And I wanted to show that to you right now. So The Creature from the Black Lagoon, it had 2 actors that played the creature. One was Ben Chapman, and he played the creature on land, very menacing figure, very tall. And then there was the actor who played the creature underwater, and his name was Rico Browning. And Rico Browning was just an excellent swimmer, much smaller man, but really graceful underwater, even in that rubber suit. Just some of those scenes are remarkable, and he could hold his breath for really long. He didn't have a tank under there. They didn't want bubbles from a tank coming up, so he could hold his breath really long, and then he'd swim off, get some air from a tube, and go back out. Just an amazing actor. And then this movie also starred Julie Adams, and as a young preteen boy, Julie Adams was fascinating to me in that white swimsuit, famous white swimsuit. She became even more appealing to me as I got older. Just a beautiful woman. And that brings me to my story of Justin Beahm. Justin Beahm he's a producer. He's a writer. He does a podcast. Sometimes you'll hear him. He's sometimes one of those commentators on DVDs where they talk about the film and stuff. Well, Justin Beahm comes from my home state of Iowa, and I met him one time, well, several times actually, but I call him an acquaintance. I don't know if he'd know me by name. I haven't talked to him for a few years now, but we'd run into each other every now and again. Well, he did an article for Monsters of Filmland, and it's really great. It's a really good article. Lots of pictures and everything, like great monster fans like. But I had him sign that. But it's an interesting story how I met Justin. There's a local production company called Prescribed Films in this area, and they were doing a film in my hometown, and I knew some of the people involved in the film, and I said, hey, do you think it'd be all right if I'm just curious how films are made and how they're put together, and if I just hung around for one day of the shoot? And they said, yeah, you can do that, but they don't like people just hanging around watching. They usually put them to work. And I said, yeah, I could do that. Anyway, the name of the movie was it was a short film called The Misadventures of a Satanic Cult 2. And I showed up, and Justin Beahm was one of the people working on the film. He was what they call a gaffer. I don't know what that is exactly, but he was doing lighting and all sorts of things with lights. And I was assigned to him to be kind of his gopher. And so that's kind of how we met. And I had a blog page at the time called B Movie Reviews, B Movie and Monster Review, something like that. He'd actually heard of that, and he mentioned, hey, are you the guy who does that? I felt so cool that he knew who I was. But just a super nice guy, just a great guy. But as I was doing some research for this today, I looked up The Misadventures of a Satanic Cult 2 on the Internet Movie Database site. I am listed as a grip on that film. I didn't even know that I was listed on that site. So I'll link below for that, because I think that's kind of fun. And while we're talking about monsters, my friend David from Garage Geek.
Welcome to Friday Night Chats with Garage Geek. I hope everyone had a great week.
He collects beer cans, interesting beer cans. I'm trying to find him some interesting local ones. I haven't been successful yet, but I do have some really interesting soda bottles. My friend Colby gave me these years ago for my birthday. This is a Frankenstein one. And this is the Bride of Frankenstein. Just really cool little bottles. I'll never drink these. They're really old anyway. But I thought you guys might be interested in these too. Another feature that I'd like to make a regular feature on the Week in Retrospective is I'd like to discuss at least one book per episode. I'm going to be talking about Infinite Jest towards the end of this video, but since we were talking about horror movies, this is a book called Hammer Glamour. Classic images from the archive of Hammer films. So, fans of horror know that Hammer films are famous for their monster movies. They redid the old Frankenstein, Dracula movies. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing show up in these things all the time. Just great films. And they always have these beautiful, just stunningly beautiful women in these films. This is Madeline Smith on the cover here. She is my all-time favorite Hammer Glamour woman, followed closely by Carolyn Monroe, and then probably Ingrid Pitt. At that third place, it gets a little hairy for me. But this book not only has really great pictures, but it tells the story of all the actresses. I wanted to show this particularly for my friend Steve at All the World's a Stage. I know he has a fetish for redheads, and Madeline Smith is probably my all-time favorite redhead. So that's for you, Steve, and for my monster fans out there. And now I really wanted to get into the week in retrospect. This is the portion of the video where I talk about my week, but I go day by day, noting anything that happened in the day of any consequence whatsoever. So I'm starting with Sunday. Let me show a couple pictures here. Sunday, I went out for tacos with my niece Lily and my dog Elsa. I probably would not have mentioned this, except I got some really funny pictures out of this, and I wanted to show those pictures. And then later in the evening, I settled in for a regular viewing of All the World's a Stage's Sunday Vinyl Confessions. This is a live stream that Steve from All the World's a Stage puts on with Marsha P. and Trevor from Flat Round and Spun. And they talk about a lot of topics regarding music and records. Sometimes it gets a little spicy, but let me show you a little clip here. I wasn't on the panel this time, but I was cracking them up in the chat.
But I know that's not her new one.
Sorry, just read Mark's reply to Jack.
Then, on Monday, I can't remember anything about Monday. My friend David from Garage Geek.
Welcome to Friday Night Chats with Garage Geek. I hope everyone had a great week.
From Garage Geek, he said, hey, write your notes down as the week goes on. Well, I'm like, well, just remember the week as the week goes on. I cannot remember anything about Monday. I know I went to work, but I can't remember anything except that I called my daughter Luxy, and I got a really nice surprise. She is coming. She's in Los Angeles right now. She is coming back at the end of August for a visit. So I will be sure and record some of that. I love her very much, and I'm very excited about that. It really, I can't remember what my Monday was like, but I'm sure that that put a very happy spin on the day. Tuesday started off with a very ominous feel. The drive home from work on Tuesday was pretty gloomy, and it suited my mood. However, I did get a little pick-me-up in the evening when my new friend Nate from Hall Yeah Comics had a little live stream with David from Garage Geek, and they shared their collections. They talked mostly about comics, but they also talked about records, books, and other collectible things, just stuff that I found interesting, which kind of put a nice end to that day.
A couple of people in chat already. So say hi to Matt with his hashtag Bring Back Herco. Thank you for keeping that alive, Matt, from Matt Likes Comics. And Mark Morris. Hey, buddy. I just watched one of his videos the other day.
But Wednesday got weird. I love the dead. So on Wednesday, I decided I was going to do another series on the albums I love, and I featured Alice Cooper's $1 Billion Babies. So I was talking to David on Tuesday saying I was wanting to do it, and I was trying to find something to use for eyeliner and mascara. I said I didn't have anything in the house. All I could find was a permanent marker, and I wasn't going to use that. And I said, I'll just make the video without the makeup. And David said, no, you got to wait until tomorrow. Get some of that eyeliner and do it. It'll be great. And so I had some patience. The next day, I called two of the people that I would normally call for such items. My niece, Lily, she didn't have any black eyeliner. And so I'm like, well, I'll just talk to her mom. I called her mom, Colby. She didn't have any black eyeliner. I thought everybody had. I thought all women had black eyeliner. However, Colby purchased me some black eyeliner. And so I couldn't see myself going into the store and buying it. Anyway, I went to pick it up at their house, and Lily was going to put the makeup on for me, but then I realized I was going to have to drive home with that makeup on, and then there's a lot of construction going on in front of my house, and I'm like, I don't think I have the fortitude to walk in front of those construction workers with that Alice Cooper makeup on. And so I applied it myself. Go and watch the video if you haven't already. I'm kind of proud of it because, I don't know, I just think it's a fun video. So Thursday was a fairly non-eventful day, except that morning there was a big storm. I come outside to find that my backyard fence had blown over. What I did is I took a picture that I'm showing right now, and it has my dog Elsa walking on the fence. I was telling people that Elsa knocked the fence over, just pushed it over, and now the world was in big trouble because she was unstoppable. Friday I woke up, started getting ready for work, and then it hit me. I can't do this today. I just can't do it. I'm lucky that I work at a place where they actually encourage you to take days off if you need mental health days. Friday was a mental health day for me. Unfortunately, I've had quite a few of those lately, but I've got a lot of PTO hours built up, so I'm fine. But the day started off a little down, but turns out we got paid early, got paid 3 days early, so I was going to have money for the weekend, which was very exciting. And then my niece Lily, I bought her the Criterion Collection Silence of the Lambs, and she thought that Friday night would be a good night to watch it. And so I was all in for that, and of course my day and evening got better after that. So first, we picked up some supplies. Then after picking up those important supplies, by the way, I know Lily looks like she's like 12, 13 years old. She's 22 years old. She's just a very young looking girl. So don't worry about her grabbing that can of alcohol. After getting our supplies, we watched the movie. Just great I forgot what a great film it is. And of course, you know, the Criterion treatment is always a bonus. All the pictures were so clear, and even that really creepy scene with the head in the jar. And that leads us to today, Saturday. Today I didn't have any big plans. I did watch Garage Geek was discussing the book Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. He is doing a review of the book with Scott from No Solution, and they're reading a certain number of pages and discussing them. And today was their first look at the first 150 pages.
The interesting thing about that section is it's written in speech form, right? So everything is misspelled, and it's like one giant sentence, and you have to read words a couple of times sometimes to get what you think is the right word, right? Because it's like it's written phonetically, I guess that's what you would say.
And then to finish up this video for today, I took my dog, Elsa, and my niece to KFC for some lunch. That's how the week in retrospect ends. I forgot to take any pictures, which is a shame because Elsa and Lily looked particularly beautiful today, and there have been some great pictures, but sometimes I get lost in the moment. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again next week.